So today I'm not going to be talking about my Land Cruiser, I'm talking about my daily driver. But this is also going to be very interesting for a lot of four-wheel drives, the newer ones especially. I took my car in to get the rego check done the other day, and I found out that my CV boot rubber, just here, has split and needs replacing. And I was thinking, yeah, okay, I've got to pull all the wheel assembly and everything off the car to replace the rubber. Dad was looking around and he found a split CV boot right here. And so I picked one up down at my local parts shop, went down there, VIN, chassis number, got the one to suit my car. Now this is a brilliant idea and I want to share this with you. It's a split CV, so it goes on. You don't have to pull everything off to slide your shaft through it. It comes split like this, so you can wrap it up around your axle. Then it has a little packet of glue. You seal along it and then you seal it up, and it's got an edge. Let's see if I can show you there. That edge there is hooked and it sits into a little recess on this edge. And when you push it together, you wait about half an hour. It's all sealed up, and then you put your new bands around it and away you go. Comes with a great set of instructions on what to do. It's got a few warnings here that if you burn things and a few other things like that. Recommends wearing gloves because there's lead in the grease. Also comes with a little packet of CV grease to top up the CV, our things to screw it up, and some little grommets in case your axle size is slightly different. So I'm going to run through the process of putting this on. I'll try and keep it nice and quick and short, but for all those new four-wheel drives out there that run CVs and have these rubber boots on them, recommend looking into these. They're not that much more expensive than the normal boots, and get you out of hassle a lot quicker than having to pull everything apart. So let's get into it. I'm going to try and keep out of the camera, so it's going to be a little bit more awkward for me than it would for you. I've got my car jacked up and on stands. Step one, cut away the rubber boot. And be very careful not to cut your fingers while doing this. Now you're going to get to a metal ring there. Use some cutters and just, they say, cut through it. There we go. Now be careful because the edge will be sharp. So you can see my boot was quite split. So yeah, good thing I'm replacing it. We've got the other ring. I think I need a new pair of side cutters. So what I'm going to try and do is just lever the whole thing off because I'm struggling with my side cutters. Now I can turn it around, hopefully where there's only one. Now you might be tempted to get on this with the angle grinder. Probably not a good idea because you want to keep the muck and everything out of your CV joint. Again, watch your fingers. Struggling here because it's got two layers. There we go. There we go. Now try not to knock any dirt or anything down in there. There we go. Step 2 is give it a bit of a wipe. Now be careful that you're not putting grease and dirt inside the CV. You don't want to knock muck into it. But this grease that I'm taking off and wiping off, because the CV's been split, probably has bits of dirt and muck and yuck inside it, and we don't want that in there. So we're going to put new grease on, because every little bit of grease and muck that's in your CV is going to wear it out. That's why they have the rubber boots on them. So having a look, it doesn't look too worn in there. It's not making noises when I drive or anything, so hopefully it hasn't been split for too long. Here we have our nice new boot. Now we're making sure we're putting it on the right way, of course. Step 3 is apply the weld agent. And of course it's all written in a language that I cannot understand on that there. Unfortunately I can't read that. Now I do really like this. They give you a real little pointy bit. Now you want to get it right down into that crack there. So here we go. Now you want to make sure you get it all the way along, otherwise you're going to have a leak in the CV joint. Or not in the CV joint, in the boot. There we go, that's a bit better. Now I'm not using gloves for this bit because I don't want the grease off the old gloves, and I want my hands fine skilled. I actually don't like wearing gloves if I don't have to. Now making sure that channel there has stuff all the way along it. Okay, now this is the bit that could be a little bit tricky. We've got to make sure that that lip stays up the right way, because if we tip it, the welding agent is going to fall out. So I may just straighten the wheel up for this. Okay, so we're going to make sure that this lip here stays sitting upright, because if we tip that over, the weld agent's going to come out. So we come down in here nice and careful. No, we don't. So we come this way because we want the big side on here. Nelly put it on backwards. We spread it open, gently work it over. Now it's a bit hard for you to see, but what I'm doing, I'm just pressing that lip together, and you can see the weld agent coming out. I will give you a shot of this once I'm done. So what I've done is just squeeze this gently together, and you can see here that the weld agent has squished out of that hole and is starting to glue that new rubber boot together. So what we do at this point is wait for half an hour for that to set, and then we can continue on with the next step. Okay, so that's half an hour gone in time. So I should be able to rotate this around gently now. And step 6 is pull gently on it, just to make sure that there is no gaps. And what I can see just there is a little gap. Poke some weld agent into it. Other than that gap, we're pretty good. So step 7 comes with a grommet. Now it's got a fat side on one and a lip. Apply the small grommet around like that. And then that's proving a little more difficult than I thought it would. Pull that back. There we go, the grommet sits there now. Bit of working to get that to sit in properly. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a little bit of grease around it because it doesn't want to slide on. Okay, so I've worked that round nice and firm now. We then take our stainless steel ring and we want it going with the loose end towards the car. So I'm going to run it round twice. We pull it up nice and tight and then fold it back over on itself just like that. Now remember, that's going to be sharp. So we bend it back over. And I'm doing this the most awkward way I possibly can because I'm trying to do it for the camera. There's two little tabs there. One folds that way. One folds that way. Squash them down. Now, the next step, step 9, tube of grease. Going to take the corner off it. We stretch this back and we apply the grease all up into our CV joint. Now my gloves are clean. I'm going to just massage it in a little bit so I get it all the way around that CV joint, some around the back, up the shaft there. Now I'm just going to change gloves because this one's filthy. Okay, now we want to work that rubber boot out and over. Now I haven't used the rubber spacer grommet on this side because the rubber boot is the correct size for my CV. What we do, again, make sure our tail is facing the rotation of the car, so when we fold it back over, it doesn't come undone. Now again, I'm going around twice. Make sure it is seated around the back. Pull it nice and tight. Then bend it back up. Work out what your tail's going to be. Then as before, push it up. And fold down your two little tabs. Now I'm just going to use a bit of rag. I've got a bit of grease that leaked out here as I was doing that. Wipe that grease up so that when I take it back, it's all good. So there you have it. That's how to replace the rubber on a CV joint or any other rubber boot on your car that turns. You could use it for the same thing with a split one. Saves you all the time and effort of having to take your axle, take everything out. Guys, have fun out there four-wheel driving. Remember, this will work on any car that has one of these rubbers. Get out there and have fun four-wheel driving.